Imtiyaz Ahmed Wani from Drangbal Pampore died during gym practice. That is the headline that has been vibrating through social media today as a man who was simply working out lost his life at the gym in front of others. Here we go with Voices of the Internet. So, we have this guy named. Oh, by the way, I am in a bit of a rush today, so this is the first video that I'm doing that is not with me in front of the camera, and it's also a moment I'm taking advantage of to kind of work with this format to see how I feel about just having my voice recorded, at least on certain videos. I think that sometimes I don't always want to be on camera. So if I can just record and do the dang on thing, then you know what? All right. So on with the story. We have this guy named Imtiyaz Ahmed Wani. I think I said that right. From a place in Drangbal Pampore. I personally have never heard of this place, Drangbal Pampore. So I have to go look it up. And I looked it up on Google Maps, which you'll see here. And I see that it is a small city, or a small town, I should say, located just outside of Pakistan, in an area called Ladakh. If you zoom in a little bit closer, you will see the town called Drangbal, which is next to another town called Srinagar. I feel like I'm pronouncing these horrible, but anyway, you get it. It's in that area of the world. So there is this video of the man working out. He looks like he's in pretty good shape. He doesn't look there's nothing wrong with this guy. It looks from the video, it looks like he's just working out. He takes care of himself. He's obviously at the gym, getting it in. And all of a sudden, and I'm not going to post, I'll post this picture, a couple of photos. I'm not going to post the full video because I just think it's kind of disrespectful to, I don't know, this guy just passed away. And it's like all these videos are just of that moment of him his passing is just available for everyone to see. So if you'll probably come across the video yourself, because it does bring up some other conversations, which I'll go into shortly, about being at the gym just in general. But anyway, so this guy is working out and he visibly becomes unwell in some way. And so he stops what he's doing with the weight and he sits up, and it just seems like that, he kind of bends over, falls over forward on the seat. He's still sitting there, and it looks like obviously something is going on with this guy. At first you can't really tell from the video. It looks like maybe he just had done his workout and maybe was just taking a rest. That's what it appears to be at first. But then he proceeds to clearly fall onto the ground in front of him. Now, if you did not see him fall, for example, if you're at the gym and you're working out, you might be in your own little brain, you're just thinking about whatever. And you might not see someone across the way. At first you might think if someone's on the ground that they're maybe doing some sort of a workout or something. But this guy falls onto the ground. There's people around. And of course, everyone probably, every time I go to the gym, almost every single person at the gym has their headphones in. I don't wear headphones personally. It's not something that I don't like to just have headphones in for multiple reasons. For ear protection, for, to be more aware of my environment, surroundings, and all of that. But everyone at the gym probably has some earpiece in, and Not like he's making much noise, I would not think. He doesn't look like he's screaming or yelling or anything like that. He just kind of slumps over and falls into the ground in an awkward position. And the thing is, there's a guy that's working out next to him. This guy, he obviously saw there was someone on the working out, before, as he was on the other machine. I'm sure he saw the guy right next to him working out. So the moment the guy is leaned over on the ground, he's fallen over into the ground, and then the dude on the machine next to him literally gets up and doesn't even like consider asking or thinking like to ask the guy, hey, are you done with this machine? Like, that's pretty normal. If he goes to the gym, usually if you're like around, people are observing, and if you're nearby, they're going to ask if you're done with the machine or whatever. But this guy just gets on the machine that the other dude had just fallen off of. And so he gets on the machine, he starts working out, and sometime, I'm not sure how much time goes by, maybe it's about a minute or so, but some time goes by, and finally it starts to get, people start noticing that this guy is just on the ground. So the man that took over his machine without being observant in any way, he does end up tending to the man that has fallen down, and others come to help, and it seems like someone goes to run and get help. The thing that this brings up, the other conversation, one is having basic CPR training, I think should be something that is like very common. Like, if you think about it, every person should know some sort of basic CPR training. When I was in high school, I took fire tech classes, and we learned a lot about how to give basic CPR if someone nearby needs assistance, and we'd be able to help. Now, to be honest with you, in saying this, I also am aware that I need to brush back up on those things. I was in high school a very long time ago, so if I'm thinking of someone, I know the basic things, but I know there's also, even when providing CPR, there might be some other small specific things that might help increase the odds of someone being helpful and helping someone else get through the situation. So I think this is a great story it's not a great story, but it's a great reminder that, maybe go on YouTube. We use the internet. We're always on our phones. Maybe it's a good time to check out, Google or whatever site, and see what are the basic types of CPR. Like, how can you provide someone with help in case they're choking or having a heart attack or a seizure or a stroke or anything of that nature. I'm sure there's some basic things that can be done until real help can arrive. But unfortunately, it looks like this man, he does not seem like he was able to get that help. Obviously, he wasn't, because he ended up passing away in front of all of those people. Now, I haven't seen this story. It's kind of new, and again, this is taking place in Pakistan. Like, so this video, I don't know the specifics. If the video kind of only shows up to a certain point, so I'm not sure if he passed away right there or if he was able to get some transported elsewhere, and then that was where he passed away. But he passed away, and it's sad to see a video like that, but it's also a reminder that anything really can happen at any moment. So you realistically, you never know when your moment is going to come. And just like this commenter said, it's really heartbreaking. He started his day like any other, never knowing it would be his last at the gym. Life can be so fragile. It seems like there may have been an underlying health issue, and it's even more tragic that he didn't receive CPR in time, maybe due to people not knowing what to do. Some moments are just hard to make sense of. May his soul rest in peace. Now, that is the other point that I wanted to talk about is I feel like you sign up, you go to the gym, you get these memberships. I feel like there needs to be some sort of like, again, someone at the gym that's hired that like the gym has to hire, that knows, like some sort of a paramedic type person that in any case of any emergency is right there and able to help immediately. Because if you're having a heart issue or you're having something really major happen and you have to wait for help to arrive, every second that passes, it's less likely that you're going to get the help that you might need to stay alive, life-saving help. And apparently the case in this case, there was no one that could help this man, and he passed away. And I also in looking in reading about this guy, because I actually just got home from the gym a few moments ago, and then this story started populating on my social media pages. And whenever I'm working out, I'm always, if something starts feeling kind of weird, or, you don't ever want to overdo it at the gym. I feel like, do what your body will allow. If you're starting to feel something that's uncomfortable or it feels like you're in pain, just stop. I'm not saying this guy knew what was coming, but I'm just saying in general, don't overwork yourself. It's not worth it because it really doesn't lead to anything, I don't know. Just be careful at the gym is what I'm trying to say. If we look at some of the comments that I've come across, this person says, that looks like a heart attack. We should all be checking on our health. The people around him should have caught it in time. Nonchalant. Another person says, not one person attempts CPR, a life-saving measure. Which, as I just mentioned, yes, if there was someone around that, and you could know CPR and it might not even help, so who knows what the situation was with this guy. He might not have, nothing might have worked, who knows what the exact situation was. Someone else commented saying, saddest part of this video is the fact that he was visibly in distress before he collapsed. This is exactly how most men don't show up for each other emotionally. Weird. That does bring up another random topic too, because you're in an environment, you got the gym, it's a bunch of guys there, and I honestly, I think that's just like, that might be a stretch of a comment, which I get where they're trying to go with that. But I feel like in most places, like at my gym, if someone passed out at my gym, I know for dang sure, like, of course, these things could happen and no one sees. So it's not 100%, of a yes, but I know for sure people are aware enough that if something like that happened in my gym, I honestly do not think that a few moments would go by without someone immediately helping that person. Like, I feel like most people at the gym are very aware. If I'm ever using a machine, even if I'm not using a machine and I'm close to it or using, any of the weights, people will ask me, hey, are you using this? And people are just very observant. So I'm not sure what the case was with this, but this other person commented saying, this is why gyms must employ the services of experts to assess cardiorespiratory fitness before accepting clients. If the families, if the family presses charges, don't be for the gym, be that. I'm not really sure what that last part is really saying. But yeah, I'm not sure what the laws are in that specific area. I don't know if pressing charges is something that's even possible for the family or whatnot, but, or if that's something you sign up for your gym membership and you sign all this stuff. Who's reading all that? Maybe it just basically says like, hey, you sign up for your gym membership And if anything happens, that's on you. I have seen that in some way at the gym. I know if you get hurt at my gym, if you, yeah, I'm with LA Fitness, you get hurt at the gym using the equipment, unless something falls into some crazy, little pocket of, things might work out in your favor, but you do sign away when you walk into the gym. They say, hey, if you get hurt, you get hurt. Someone said, oh my, he definitely had a heart attack, which is my thoughts too. People in the comments blames others around him or saying he has health issues, but are you sure you will live for eternity? Each day, or each one of us, his day will come. The lesson here is be kind, be humble. The day will hunt you sooner. This day will hunt you sooner or later. That's pretty deep right there. You know what? That's the guy, whoever wrote that. I'm H&H. All right, you have a good valid point, and you worded that very nicely. This is the rare truth about going to the gym. Nobody watches you. Everyone is just wearing their AirPods or their headphones and doing their own thing, which is very sad. Which again, I'm not about the headphones. I like my ears to be free. They're already playing great music at the gym. Most of the time I'm there anyway, so I just listen to what they're playing and I'm still jamming out regardless, while still being aware of my environment because anything could happen. Sad to watch. Several possible causes comes to mind, but the most likely cause of death would be a hypertrophic cardiomyopathy, which I'm assuming is this form of a heart attack. May the Lord have mercy on him. Everybody is talking about gym, heart, CPR, whatsoever, but nobody is talking about how silent death can be. A man can look strong and still be fighting something nobody sees. We celebrate strength so much we forget that the body also whispers before it breaks. Which is I like the way this person put that, whoever wrote it. Because someone can look great. Someone outside physically can look like they're in the best shape that they've ever been. But if you look at, bodybuilders and people who have all this weight on them and are, there's other things that, yes, you might physically look, aesthetically, you might look great, but there are also things in the body that you cannot see that might be the underlying cause of, a symptom that you end up having. So you can look great on the inside, or you can look great on the outside, and something could be wrong on the inside. CPR should be taught at every level. It should be a core course for every student in school across the world. That saves a lot of lives. I have to say that I agree with that. I had to take a fire tech class, as I mentioned, in high school in order to get that sort of certification, CPR certification, but it should be a requirement for all students. I think every student should have some knowledge of basic CPR and being helpful. Again, if someone near them, a stranger, a friend, a family member, anyone is around, you could be helpful in some way in case something really bad happens to someone. This happened to me at home alone. My hearing was going and it felt like a pressure cooker. In the end, I lost my energy to stay standing, dropped to my knees, and started repeating, I'm dead, I'm dead. To my surprise, I suddenly gained strength and had a cold sensation all over my body. Not sure what the situation was with that, but it sounds like it could be something that's going on, maybe a heart thing. And I hope that the person that wrote that is okay, and also went to go get checked out and make sure that whatever caused that sensation is nothing major or serious that could cause a problem in the future. So I hope, writer, whoever wrote that, I hope you are okay and will be okay. It's even more painful that those men around him did not notice he was struggling until it was too late. People need to be more aware of their surroundings. One even attempted to put him in a recovery position, CPR, ring emergency services, etc. This is quite poor. May he rest in, I'm assuming the word after that was peace. Some of these posts are a bit difficult. People have different ways of writing, so sometimes it's difficult to kind of put that exactly together. Maybe I just read that fast. I don't know, but you get the point. Same thing as I had spoken about a few moments ago. I thought they said exercise is good for the heart. How come he had a heart attack in the gym? And this goes back to the fact that yes, exercise is good for the heart, but if you have an issue with your heart, an underlying issue, or if there's something wrong, exercise might not be good for you in that specific circumstances. Yes, generally exercise is good for the heart, the body, the organs, the skin, everything else, but and the mind. I can't forget that part. But just because you're working out does not excuse you from having heart failure. It can actually, working out, especially if you're working out too strenuously, can induce heart failure and these issues. So that's something that you really have to look out for. But yes, exercise is good for your heart. But the reason why you can have a heart attack at the gym is because your heart is being strained, and that can lead to you having a heart attack. Those people living in their phone and not in the moment. I actually have a whole other video to make about that. I should have used this. I should have. Oh, wait. No, wait. Oh, you know what? I just went into one of the quotes for my other, for another segment, my next segment that goes into people being on their phones at anything and everything all the time. I'm going to talk about that, but that's not what this video is. But I just realized that I read all of the quotes that I found that I wanted to share for this specific video. So to the man, Imtiyaz Ahmed Wani from Drangbal Pampore, may you rest in peace. And I hope that other people who see and hear about this story will be encouraged to go to maybe the doctor or go get a checkup. If you're not feeling well, remember, if you're able to access and go to the doctor, remember you can look great on the outside, but there could be something wrong on the inside. So go get those checkups, y'all. Get your heart checked out, get your breathing checked out, get your yearly physicals, and make sure, blood test, all that. Make sure that you're good to the best of your ability. But that will be all from me for this episode of Voices of the Internet. I will be back with another video very shortly. You guys have a great evening, day, or whatever time it might be when you're listening to this. And peace.